So with the NBA season being over, free agency being pretty much over as far as all major moves, basketball not being around for a while, at least for a little bit, people have started to talk about, rankings, where players rank, comparing players. And one of the most common comparisons that I've seen, especially for over the past 2 years while Ja's been in the league, is Ja Morant versus De'Aaron Fox. And it seems to me that a large number of people rank Ja Morant over someone like a De'Aaron Fox. And I just don't see it. Some of the main arguments that they give, the primary one that they give is leadership and he led his team to the playoffs. And while I'm not shaming Ja for leading his team to the playoffs, obviously that's a very good thing to do. You can't put it against Fox for not leading his team to the playoffs. That's the main thing. It's not just that they're lifting up Ja for leading his team to the playoffs, is that when they're making that comparison, they're putting Fox down for not doing the same thing when Fox is currently at the mercy of horrible Kings management, horrible coach, and a subpar roster. He does have a few good pieces, obviously. Tyrese Halliburton is there, Harrison Barnes is pretty good, Richaun Holmes is pretty good. Overall, he's just not in a very good situation. And it's just this narrative of people shaming players for not reaching the playoffs or getting to a certain number of wins when their situation is just not good. This happened to Fox, it's happened to Cat, it's happened to Booker, it's happened to Levine, so on and so forth. And then when you get past the leadership argument, when you get to actual on the court play, the three of the things that I've seen brought up is playmaking, driving to the basket, and defense. Now, I want to start with driving to the basket because it's the most peculiar one to me. Not because it's the one that's not the closest. Obviously, it's the one that's the closest, but it's the most peculiar because I think because De'Aaron Fox, for the few people that watch De'Aaron Fox, because it seems like nobody watches him, partly because he's on the Kings, it seems like people have forgotten De'Aaron Fox's bread and butter, which he still uses, which is driving to the basket, because he's diversified his game and expanded it outside of that, and developed his game in other areas like the mid-range and the three-point shot and his floater game. But he's still a very good driver to the basket, and you could definitely argue that he's a better finisher and driver than Ja Morant, although it is very close and it could really go either way on that specific one. But I think his expansion of his game allows him to be a better driver than Ja, because with Ja, his three-point shot is lacking. He doesn't really do much outside of the paint area as far as scoring, and De'Aaron Fox has diversified his game a little bit more to where his driving ability can flourish, because you have to take away other parts of his game. Even if you consider Ja a better driver, like a pure driver and finisher, the difference is pretty negligible. When we get to defense, I feel like Fox just completely washes Ja on defense. Ja, although he can be a little feisty at times, I guess, he's just not a good defender. At this point in his career, he's not absolutely abysmal, I would say. He's not a Trae Young level defender, obviously, but he's just not a good defender, while Fox is actually a very solid defender. I feel like he has a little bit more lateral movement, a little bit more IQ on that side of the ball. So I just feel like he's a better defender, and he pretty much washes Ja in that specific area. And then when you get to playmaking, the one underrated part of Ja's game is his passing. I feel like he's a very good passer, but so is De'Aaron Fox. And when you have De'Aaron Fox, who is a better scorer than Ja Morant, he demands more attention and he opens up more shots for his teammates. He has more gravity than Ja Morant does. I feel like that makes him pretty easily a better playmaker than Ja Morant. So overall, I really don't see that argument, and I feel that because of Ja getting comparisons to Fox and another guy who is SGA, who I believe is clearly better than Ja, I believe that Ja has just become a little bit overrated. But let me know what you guys think.